Let's dive in. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about taking limit orders, PancakeSwap. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through the things that I think are backwards. So anyways, go ahead, Deb.
Well, I just want to make sure that our traders who are on understand what a limit order is. So can you walk through that?
Good. Yeah, you want to tell them or you want me to?
Well, I can tell them. So let's say you're looking at a token and it's at a certain price right now, and you can see because you've studied, because you've learned from Doug, you understand the barriers, you understand that this is, it's going down. You might want to wait until it reaches a certain point. He showed you that grid last night if you were on. And he showed the grid lines. That's a price point, right? That's a place where you might want to come in and buy on a grid. So a limit order allows you to set up to tell whatever platform you're on that you want to buy that token, but not until it gets to a certain price, or you want to sell that token when it reaches a certain point, right? So that's a limit order. You're actually giving your information. You don't have to. It takes away the need to sit right here and wait for that price to drop or wait for that price to go up. It lets you set it and walk away.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it allows you to do. But listen, and Deb, thank you for doing that, because I want to go into a little bit of detail on limit orders. Then I'm going to teach you guys how to take a limit order and how we're going to use the system. Maybe as early as next week. So this is a super important lesson. Okay. All right. I'm sharing my screen still, right?
Not yet. And while you're pulling that up, just a reminder to everybody, PancakeSwap currently has this functionality. nSights was building this functionality or designing this function. Lots of places have it. 1inch has it. Lots of other platforms has it. But what PancakeSwap doesn't have, which you'll see, is a lot of the detail in your limit order that you actually want. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this functionality in nSights currently to use. We're going to send the data over to use the limit order function that already exists in PancakeSwap, but you're going to be able to manage that from nSights, and you're going to be able to see a lot more of the data that you really need to see as a trader. You're going to be able to see that in nSights, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, well, that's the whole concept of nSights, right? So absolutely. All right, so let's talk about, and I'm using this chart because we have this big ugly wick, right? And what a wick represents is a battle between buyers and sellers. Market went up, got driven back down, but it also usually represents a very fast moving market. Okay. Usually in a lot of things in crypto, we'll have a price set. Let's say I had a limit order or even a market order. Well, market orders are different. Let's say we had a limit order. I don't want to confuse everybody. I'll stick with limit orders here. Say I had a limit order here that said I wanted to take profit at 1.1038. Clearly, the market went above 1.1038. You can see it go up, and my limit order got hit, but I didn't get filled. Right. And I hear this all the time. Well, the market went there, but I didn't get filled. And in fact, it went above there. So what a limit order says is give me this price, exit me at this price or better. Okay. So if there's no sellers that can, maybe there's too many sellers at this level, and my limit orders are in an order, what's called an order book. First come, first serve, basically. So the first people that have set up their limit orders, if the market hits this number and there's people who are trying to sell their tokens at this number, they're going to get filled in that order: first, second, third, fourth. You may be person 10,000. I don't know, right? And this is part of the challenge of the crypto market in general, especially the DeFi market, is what we call liquidity. The amount of money available at any given point on the chart to fulfill whatever action is that you're trying to take, whether it's buying or selling, right? To buy, there has to be a seller, and there has to be enough liquidity for me to buy at that level. If I'm selling, there has to be enough sellers for me to actually go the other way, right? So I need to have liquidity. If the market is screaming up, like this probably was doing, and it goes past my area to sell, it could have got all the way up, and the statement is, give me this price or better. So it's trying to fill me all the way up. It's trying to sell all the way up to here. And if it had sold, if it had found liquidity and it was my turn, right, I could have actually gotten filled at a better price at 1223.52. I was trying to get out here, but I actually got out here because it's at my price or better. Okay. If there is no liquidity and it's not my turn, right, and in time it becomes my turn, and the liquidity runs out and the market now is below my number, even a fraction below my number, at my price or better, no longer works, right? Because I'm worse. I'm not better. I'm getting a worse price than a better price. So in fast moving markets, you go, well, it hit my deal, I didn't get filled, and now I'm all the way down here. Okay. It's going to happen. That's the way limit orders work. The reverse of that is the market order. Okay. The market order, you fire a market order, and a market order is going to take the next available fill. Okay. If the next available fill the same way, if the next available fill is all the way down here, this is where you're going to get filled. It's called a gap, right? You're going to get gapped from where you fired the order to where it actually got filled. And that is a fast moving market, and it happens all the time. So the safest trade, if you believe in the coin, is the limit order. No major trading institution, professional trading institution, uses market orders. They all use limit orders because they want to control their trades. So if you don't give me this price, I'm going to keep it. I don't want you to fill me down here. Okay. I don't want that price. I'll wait. I'll cost average. I'll do money management. I'll do all kinds of things to control my world, but don't give me something I don't want, right? Either give me what I want or better, or don't give me anything at all. Okay. That's a limit order. So now that we understand that, when we're trading in nSights and we're setting limit orders, that's exactly what we're going to be using. So there might be a case where let's reverse it from a sell to a buy, right? Let's say I set a buy down here, okay? And let's say the market here in this red candle, and I'll slide this over so it's not confusing, right there's my buy, right? And this red candle obviously hit my buy entry range. And I go, okay, it should have got in. It had chances to get me in at a better price also. But again, no liquidity. I'm too far into the list to get filled. Market goes up. I missed that trade because this order here didn't have the opportunity to get filled. When we design nSights, and I don't know how sophisticated this area is yet in terms of what I can do on the blockchain and what I can do with limit orders. But in our system, if we can do this, we'll probably end up developing what we call OCO limit orders. One cancels the other, right? And the way that that would be is if this doesn't get filled, I would have a secondary order that would be slightly higher, whatever that is. This would get first opportunity to get filled. If the market goes down and it doesn't get filled and it comes back up and the price is worse, right? Then I get a second chance. Give me this one. If this one doesn't fill, then this one does. If this one fills, if this trade fills and I get my fill here, then cancel my other order. One cancels the other, okay? And that gives us more control over our limit orders. Now, PancakeSwap and these other don't have that kind of sophistication. That's where I want to take nSights. That's where we're going to go, but we won't have that initially. We will have what PancakeSwap has for us, and we will trade according to those limitations. But at least we have the ability to set limit orders. Why is that important? Well, when we think of what we're trying to do, and I think let's go back to this one. I think this was Mark, Mark and Udo, good friends. They're trading this coin, right? And so are many of us. When this happened, when this market moved up, and this could be nSights, True Badger, any coin that we were trading, probability of us having our bottom ends here sitting in the seat when that happens, really, really remote, right? We can't trade 24 hours a day. Now, with some charting systems, and there's limitations on these versions of trading view on these charts, and I think I'll be able to build this in nSights, that I can put lines in here that will text your phone, ring you if the market hits a certain number, so that you have a chance to respond to the market. That'll be down the road. But for now, if I knew and I was trading this, right? And I didn't want to miss if the market came back up. And let's say we take all of these wicks out, and where is our bodies at? Well, we got a body here, and I got a group of bodies in this range, right? I got candle bodies here, 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 and here. So maybe I take my last rejection up, this one here. I'll zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I had this rejection up. I had this rejection up. There's really three here. Right there, all three of these top candles. These are the rejection levels that went up, okay? So that I can now, if I know my entry is down here, right? If I have an entry down here, which a lot of us did because we were trading down here, I can say, okay, well, that's 141%. That's 152. That's 169. Now I can say, I can make a decision. Do I want to risk the market almost getting there, but not getting there? There's ways that we'll deal with this in nSights down the road. Because boy, I tell you, there's nothing more frustrating than to set a target at 168% profit and you come this close Okay, how close is that? Let's see how close that is. You come less than 1% from hitting that target and you don't hit it. Okay. So then you make a decision. Do you want to take the odds of trying to hit a top number, or do you want to kind of put yourself in the middle, more in the middle of all the price action? Probably better to be in the middle of all the price action, because what we kind of know to be true is, if where the bulk of the price action is where the markets will usually go back to, right? These are areas where buyers and sellers will defend what they've done in the past. Okay. So if I can put myself, if I want to be really have a higher probability of hitting it, I would take the lower line. If I want to take a little bit of risk, I would take the middle line. If I want to really just say, I don't care, either hit it or I'm good at holding on until you do, even if that's 6 months from now. Okay. Those are the decisions you got to kind of make as you move through this. So let's say you took the middle line, right? And so now you set your target and you're good to go, right? We've been able to map it out, and we've been able to say, okay, I'm going to set a limit order right here. And in the middle of the night while I'm asleep, at least I have two options, right? It hit it during this hour, and it hit it during this hour. I have at least a couple of options for the market to try to fill me and get me out. Okay. Again, depends on when you put your limit order in. Earlier, the better, right? So when you're down here and other people haven't put in their limit orders yet, you know, you want to be the first to the gate, as close as you can be, right, to getting those limit orders in place. You don't want to, if this market's moving up and you're right here, right? Yeah, you can go ahead and put a limit order in and see if it gets filled, but you know, you're way late to the game, right? Probabilities are, if liquidity is thin, you might not get filled. If we have a lot of liquidity, then it's not going to be a problem, right? It just depends on liquidity. And again, in the DeFi space, liquidity is an issue. And we understand that, right? We have 171,000 in liquidity here. We can see that right there. But we have $97 million market cap. That X factor, that ratio is really, 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 yeah. Liquidity is thin. All right, so that is what it is. All right, so let's see how we do this. Let's go to nSights, and I'm going to look at specifically nSights, and I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to trade this barrier here. Okay. I'm going to say, if I wanted to trade this barrier, it's at 1266. Now, this is what I don't like about PancakeSwap, because you got to do a little bit of thinking. You got to use the charts to help you out. Okay. I'm looking at how far is it from here to this line, and I dragged it over here so you can see this number. It's 1.92%. I need to know that number before I go to PancakeSwap. Here's mine. Okay, so let's go to PancakeSwap. Okay, PancakeSwap. Under trade here, I'm going to click on trade. I'm not going to go swap. I'm going to go limit. Okay. I'm going to go to limit. And I'm going to change this to NSI. The way I'm going to do NSI is I'm going to go to our website. I'm going to get the address, and I'm going to come back here. I'm going to paste it in. That way I know it's the right address. Add NSI.
And this functionality that he's showing you, this is for whatever token it is that you're wanting to trade, right? So if it's some other token, you're going to look for that contract address. He's using NSI in this scenario.
Yeah. And I had put it in earlier. Usually you get a different message. That's why I'm doing it twice. Okay. So now I'm going to connect to my wallet here. Now here's the deal. I'm just going to put in 0.05. Okay. This is giving me the amount of NSI. Well, this is giving the NSI per BNB, or the amount of NSI. If I switch this is the BNB price. Okay. And at both of these, I'm at 0% below the market. Now, if I decrease this number, if I take the 2 away and I put a 0, it says I'm 6.24% below the market. I'm actually getting less NSI. Okay. And this is the confusing thing. If I want to get more NSI, right, for the same price, more NSI, does the market need to go up or down for me to get more NSI with the same price? Put that in the chat. More, does it need to go up or down for me to get more NSI? Yeah, it needs to go down. But this is saying above the market, okay, which is just really backwards. And I'll confirm this, right? It's given, and I can switch this to BUSD and then switch this here. And if I look at this, I can say, okay, if I want to trade below the market, right, I would change this number to a smaller number, right? Now I'm 12.0, right, instead of 12.9, but it says I'm 7.9% above the market. Well, let's look at this number, 12.0. And then I'm doing this because this really, to me, unless I'm tired today and I'm not getting this, right? This is really backwards. Okay.
Real quick, let me help some people in the chat. Guys, we're showing you how to do it in PancakeSwap, but we are expecting in the next, I don't know, hopefully very short period of time, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be setting your limit orders from NSI. Doug is simply showing you, trying to get you to understand how PancakeSwap is doing it and what a limit order is and how to look at that. So I need you to focus in on what he's teaching instead of thinking about yourself going out and setting pancake swaps at the moment, right? Please focus on the training itself right now.
Okay. So here's what I did, guys. I changed this to 12.0, and it says I'm 7.49% above the market. Above the market, right? To me means above the market. I mean, if the market price is X, it's above that. But this number that it calculates, this number right here, 12.0065, right, is below the market. Here's 12.0, right? I copied that number in, and we can see that number is 6.9, almost 7% below the market. Here's the market, it's below the market. They have this, excuse me, ass backwards. And you got to know that, because we're going to be using these limit orders, very soon to actually start trading. And you're going to come here and this is going to turn you around. Okay. And I don't want you to get turned around. So as we talked last night, I'm going to be setting targets that will probably next week start showing up on the charts. These will be targets that we'll set for buys and sells that will be limit orders. And let's say this right here is one of the targets that I want to set, okay? It's at 1193, okay? Now I'm going to show you two ways to do this. This is at about 7.55% below the market, but it's going to tell me above the market, okay? So if I go here, 1193, I change this to 11, and let's confirm there is no zero between the 11 and the 9, so 1193, okay? It gives me 8.14% above the market, which we know is below the market. Now I can trade nSights with BUSD using BNB. And again, that's another lesson that kind of gets confusing. If I'm using BNB, okay, here, and I know that it's about 8% below the markets where I need to be. Well, let's change some of these numbers. Let's get rid of those and put some zeros. That's 4% below. So I can use this if I go to my chart first, and I know that it's around 7.5%, 8% is where I want to be, okay? And I can say, okay, 2.5. Okay, well, that's 24% below the market, too much. So you got to kind of work your way through. 2.9 is 7.63 below the market, and it's putting me on that barrier or right at that barrier that I want to trade, okay? So I could place this limit order, and I could know that I'm in that right range. So it takes a little bit of walking through and understanding what you want to try to do. The other side of this is true. If I want to, now watch, I'm going to switch this, okay? Watch what happens. See NSI down here and BNB up here? This will be true when we set our limit order box in our system, which will take care of a lot of this stuff for you guys, but everybody that's going to trade with me for the next couple of weeks that are going to use limit orders, we're going to be having to use this system until we make a more advanced interface to make it easier for you guys. And we are working on that already. Okay. I'm going to switch this. Watch what happens to NSI. NSI is going to come up here and BNB is going to come down here. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. Can anybody tell me what that just did? Okay, am I now, okay, let me help you out a little bit. In this situation, I'm using BNB to buy NSI, okay? When I switch this, what did I do? What did I do? That's right, Frank. I'm taking NSI and I'm selling my NSI for BNB, okay? And if I'm setting a limit order, I want that to be above where I'm at, right? If I got in, say I got in right now at the 1290, okay, maybe I want to sell. If I go to daily here and we can look at the chart. Chart's been slow today, guys. I apologize. All right, well, it's slow. All right, so if I go to PancakeSwap and okay, here we go, finally. Thank you. Let's go to Hakanashi. That's probably why it was slow, because I was switching to the other candles. Okay, my first barrier is up here, okay? I know that the tax on NSI is 10% in, 10% out, and a couple of percent for the fees for the blockchain. So maybe 25% is really break even for me. I don't want to get out at 25%. So I'm going to target the next barrier potentially. That's 48% to there. That's 70% to here. And this is 2197. Okay, I'm going to just add 2197. So over here, if I hang on. Yeah, 2197. nSights here. So 2197. Oh, hang on. I got that incorrect.
Right. So now it wants him to put in the number of NSI tokens that he wants to sell. The first one was how much BNB do you want to sell for NSI tokens? Now it's how many NSI tokens do you want to sell for BNB?
Okay, so now let's begin to play with this number here. I need this number to go. Let's find out. Okay. 39 puts me at 25. But see, this is the mind change here. When we're selling, I believe that this number is correct, because at the current market, if I were to sell this much, well, I need to go NSI to go up against BNB. So if NSI is going up, then BNB is actually going down. So let's figure this out. If we sell, well, let's change this to USD just real quick. USD. Okay. We're currently at this market price. If I said I wanted to sell it at let's get the number again. We said 2197. So let's change this to 2197. And see, this is correct. Okay. And they're both telling me above the market. Again, this is really, we're not the only ones that deal with software. And I understand, this is a new system for them, and they've got things to work out, but this would be one of them. So I know that if I sell my NSI for BUSD, ultimately BNB, I need to be at 72.04 above the market according to this piece of information right here. So now if I change this back to BNB, 72 is the number, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now watch what happens. I'll change this to 0. Okay. Change this to 4. Change this to 5. Change this to 5, 9. Too much. 5. Let's say 5, 7. No. Okay. 5, 5. All right. That's close. So now I know that I've matched those numbers, right? And I've set up my limit order to sell 77% above the market. If I wanted to be a little conservative, I could set 5.3. But I started with BUSD. I started with dollars, something that my mind can understand and that I can see it in relationship to the numbers that are actually on the chart. Okay. Because if I put it in BUSD, this is all in USD. So if I put it in BUSD, I'm seeing the same numbers, and it allows me to confirm what I'm trying to do, right? I see 1277, I come here, I'm at 1288, slightly different, and that's just difference in the markets, but that is the number, that is the range that we're dealing with. And if I come back here, and if I change this number, which is exactly like changing the number here on the chart and getting to a specific goal, which is 2197, right? So if I know that number to be accurate, and that's where I'm trying to get to, 2197, then that gives me my percentage above the market. I can see that, I can understand that. Now I could leave this in BUSD and PancakeSwap does it automatically. It causes an extra transaction to do that. But if I want to be a purist and say I want to trade in BNB, all I got to do again is remember this number, 72, right? And I change this to BNB here. Now I'm selling my NSI for BNB. I just need to know how far up I need to go to get to that number, okay? $73, $70, and then I can add another number, right? Not too much. So I can make that match as close as I can because now I know the number, okay? So here's what we're going to be doing, and just go practice this. And then maybe on the next call on Monday, we'll take some limit orders together. We'll actually place them. But I want everybody to be able to go out, practice this, try to understand what I just did, watch this video. Because again, to me, my mind is extremely logical and it turns it around backwards for my mind. It may not for yours, but for my mind, things kind of get turned around backwards. So I got to make sure, and I got to be very careful that I make sure that I'm executing correctly. Okay. All right. So next week, probably what we're going to do is we're going to start setting some limit orders for buying, and we'll probably set some limit orders for selling. Okay. So that if the market goes up, it can sell some of our NSI. And then when that sells, then we'll probably set some limit orders to rebuy. So we'll start buying and selling NSI and start pocketing some money and start, creating some profits for ourselves and increasing the volume and the tradability of NSI itself. So that's a real goal. All right, guys.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to show you guys today. I need you to go back and review this video as many times as you need to understand what I just did. Now, when we get to nSights and we're building what's called the GUI or the interface for the limit orders, we'll make it a lot easier, okay? We'll make things much more intuitive. We'll add some higher functionality like, being able to just set my profit percentage or being able to go directly to the trades that I have on this screen and say, click this trade, I want to sell it here, and click on the chart ultimately and have it fill all of that in for you. That's down the road. Right now, I need to start trading with you guys and teaching you guys these things so that we can trade together. And the first step is for you to understand this. Okay.